most out of this, and of course it's them. And to go into what else Mr. Anderson was speaking about, the Roman Empire, we saw the Roman Empire add to their perimeter. They kept expanding it, and eventually the center just collapsed. They just couldn't possibly keep it up. We have another phone call.
Hey, you're on the road news.
Yes, sir, Farron. How's everything going?
Great. How you doing, sir?
Oh, doing fine. I just wanted to agree with Brian on what he said there. I do not think our supposed elected officials are planning on doing anything. I don't think they can do anything about it, but I don't believe that they want to do anything about it either.
I agree with you. I mean, polls showed, there was polls that over 90% of the public overwhelmingly opposed any bailouts, AIG, any of them, Wall Street, and the duty of our elected officials is to submit to the will of the people, and they blatantly have disregarded the will of the people. We are in a very sad state of affairs here in America.
Yes, we are. And just like you had on your little commentary earlier, you know, there is no such thing as government money. It always comes from the people that they tax, and they're going to continue to tax it. So I guess we're going to have to open up our rusty old wallets and get out our last $2 and give to them. And but I know I'm hearing still that they are planning to pay out bonuses to these people like AIG and stuff like that they're already linked to on this bailout money.
As we saw earlier this week too, I believe they're planning on giving AIG an additional $10 billion. I mean, it's a black hole. AIG is.
Yeah, and the big three automakers, as big as AIG is, I'm sure they're going to be a lot bigger. And I wanted to comment too on the fact that y'all reported on the troops being brought home for possible unrest. They showed a group on CNN the other day from Ohio that's returned home, and that was the combat group. And I just said, well, that probably gave y'all some validity on that right there.
We have seen some reports of this on the mainstream press, and they on CNN they have reported that they're being brought home in the case of the possibility of civil unrest, which you know, goes against posse comitatus, using troops on American soil. But anyone that's familiar with the Waco massacre, when the government killed almost 80 women and children in a church, total disregard to posse comitatus, and of course they got by with it.
Yeah, and those being what he was sent overseas for the past 5 or 6 years to get combat training on other people in their homes.
Yeah,
so these boys may come back home red-eyed and rowdy.
Yeah, desensitized, have seen no telling what kind of atrocities. I mean, just this week, the Blackwater troops, what was it, 6 of them, 5 that was on trial.
Yes.
It's come, and they have admitted now, after denying it for over a year, that they machine gunned women and children. And they're putting them on trial. I hadn't heard the outcome, but it's just it's an amazing state of affairs if you look into what the real news is.
Exactly, and those Blackwater boys, they'll probably slap them on the wrist and send them somewhere where they're out of the public eye and let them go back to doing their old jobs, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm amazed they're even bringing them to trial.
Yeah, that's probably smoke and mirrors, but that's probably what we'll get.
It's just like when, you know, Bush and Cheney and Rumsfeld went on their collected chorus of weapons of mass destruction. I was certain, well, if they can't find any, they'll at least fake it, but at this point, they don't even have to do that.
No, you know, well, you talked about the Roman Empire. As a Christian and a student of the Bible, every nation that's ever been world power has had its rise and fall, and it's all in God's hands, and this nation is no different, and we may be looking at our fall coming on.
Well, if God don't judge America, he'd have to apologize to Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah, and definitely we've got enough, well, people, believe it or not, there's enough wicked people running this country that we're probably past due for judgment. But I think we probably just haven't got the full brunt of it yet.
I agree. Well, I appreciate you calling. Is there anything else you'd like to add today?
No, so just keep up the good work.
Hey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You want to finish that? You want us to go to a break?
Well, one other comment I wanted to make. I mean, again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I just keep going back to these international bankers. They just ravage country after country, just pillage them. Really no different than the the Norman hordes from in the days of the Vikings. Just go through villages, rape and pillage, take all the wealth and leave. That's what they do, country after country after country. That's what we see in the third world, these IMF loans, supposed loans, where they can't pay them back, so they allow companies to go in and purchase up the infrastructure of these third world countries for pennies on the dollar.
And like our phone callers were saying, I mean, people need to investigate the Federal Reserve banking system and try to understand this oligarchy that we're under of corruption, and all of this is being brought to us courtesy of the Federal Reserve banking system.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a parasite of, massive proportions, just bleeding this country dry.
And if you look into it, you will see that there is a large move of real patriots that are trying to start a real opposition to the Federal Reserve banking system. As we said, the protest that was at our local branch, and the protests are going to continue. That wasn't the first to be the last. They are going to continue. In fact, we will be giving you dates. There will be some coming up first of the year. I think they start in February, if I remember. But we will be giving the dates, and we will be at any that's within driving distance of us. If we can be at the Charlotte branch, if there's going to be protests, the Real News will be there. We're going to go to a break, and then we'll come back with more of your phone calls. This is the Real News here on WSIC 1400, 1520 WDSL. Yeah. Okay, we're back on the Real News. If you'd like to call in and comment on what's going on in the world today, feel free to. Our phone numbers are 704-873-1400. Our Davie County number is 336-499-0681. And while I got it on my mind, next week our guest will be the Iraq Veterans Against the War. This is a group of veterans that have been in Iraq. They opposed the war. They will be able to tell us some of what they've seen, what they witnessed in Iraq, and why they opposed the war. That will be the 20th, a week from today. And then the following week, on the 27th, Jason Burmas is going to be our guest. He was involved in the making of Loose Change, that's correct?
Yes.
And his new movie, Fabled Enemy, which is an excellent account of the 9/11 and what's transpired since. It's a great documentary. In fact, both of them are, if you'd like to look at them. You can find them online, or you can purchase them at Infowars.com. We got another phone call. Hey, you're on the Real News.
Aaron, this is Dave. How are you today?
Hey, great, sir. How you doing?
Good. I found out this past week, I found out something, another item that's not in the history book. In February 1942, this was about 2 or 3 months after Pearl Harbor, Los Angeles and California coastline in particular was nervous about a possible attack from the Japanese, most likely with aircraft carriers. So the government put up a lot of anti-aircraft batteries along the coast of California. And in February 42, they called a false air raid. They fired over 1,400 rounds of anti-aircraft rounds up over the Pacific Ocean, so that none of it landed on the people. But there was a lot of panic in the streets, and people honestly believed they were being attacked. And as it turns out, after the war, they saw the records the Japanese had kept on all their different movements and ship movements. There wasn't any Japanese ships anywhere near the coast of Southern California throughout the entire war. Now, conveniently, right after this false air raid is when they decreed that Japanese people were the enemy of the United States, and that's when they rounded up all the, in many cases, American-born Japanese people and lowered them into prison camps. So this was another example of a false flag.
Yeah, a lot of people is unaware that we've had concentration camps on American soil and put the Japanese in it, and it's an amazing story. But I have not heard that story that you're telling right there. Brian said he was familiar with it.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I believe it was around the Los Angeles area. I saw something about it. It's been a while since I saw it, but as I recall, I mean, it was a massive supposed air raid when they were just shooting indiscriminately into the sky, tens of thousands of rounds of ammunition.